Clansman gang trial, where the court heard today from a second prosecution witness that incarcerated dancehall star Vibes Cartel had personally called him and two others, including the alleged leader of the One Don faction of clans, Andre Brand, to tell them that he wanted 3 people killed, one including an artist, the attack on whom failed. He survived the attack, and 2 other persons, both of whom were killed.
It's interesting, Stevie, you mentioned a song, a set.
Right.
Vibes Cartel.
The music video for a song. The song is called Bokopina, and that music video, it was being shot on McKinley Crescent. Yes, and that's where they were supposed to go and ensure that everything went well for that music video, and they were there for the entire day.
And they used that scenario to identify another of the accused?
Yes, one of the accused, Squeeze Eye, he was the person they were identifying at that point.
And the reactions in the courtroom at that moment, did you hear audible sighs and
Yes, especially from, not necessarily from the accused persons, but especially from the persons, like the media persons who were there, and you have other persons like the police and all of that. They would have been surprised as well and touching each other and saying, wow, that happened. Yeah. I just wanted to note that when the witness was talking about, I don't know if you want to move to
Go
that.
ahead.
Move to when he was talking about the undercover work that the police would have done.
Yes.
That is when you got the accused persons showing a lot of interest, because it's for the entire day and sometimes it gets tedious. Sometimes they would hold their heads down and things like that. But as he was describing how he took a police officer where they were and they were passing the guns, not knowing it was an undercover police, of course, so they wouldn't have known. He said he introduced the police officer as his uncle to them, and they were literally passing guns and ammunition to the uncle.
Where was it?
This was in Jones Avenue.
Jones
Avenue is their headquarters,
The famous Jones Avenue.
Jones Avenue.
Yes. So he brought along.
He brought along a team from CTOC. Well, it was only one policeman. The team from CTOC had parked somewhere else, so they would have been awaiting. And then this one policeman, he brought him there and
Passed him off as his uncle?
Yes, introduced him as his uncle, and he would have gotten to see, what happens with these gangsters.
So describe for us what he related in terms of that particular incident, when he described the undercover cop as his uncle.
Right.
What was the mission on that day?
Okay, so before that happened, he was supposed to deliver some money to another gangster to purchase a gun, $150,000. That was a process that took a little time because he had to go to Denham Town to pick up the money from 2 other persons, including, he says, the sole female. They call her Mama. Her name is Stephanie Christie. She was one of the persons who were at Denham Town, right at where he says there was a checkpoint, a police checkpoint where soldiers and police were. They were supposed to meet him there, give him the money. But when he went there to meet them, she wanted him to follow her to the gas station, which he did unwillingly because he never trusted her, he says, because he was saying, why not just give me the money here? He never trusted her. He thought should have called some gangsters to come and shoot him up. He even said that he, eased back his car seat and in case somebody came to shot him. After that,
this woman is the one on trial.
This woman is the only woman on trial among the 33.
Pastor lady.
That's the pastor lady who has her church in St.
Pastor
Thomas.
or the woman? What did he say?
Well, her name is Muma, so I don't know.
Anyway, go on.
Right, so after that, no, the gangster who was supposed to get the money to purchase the weapon apparently got it. He never mentioned that he got it, but I deduced that he got it because he moved on to say, I took the toll and I went to Portmore, pick up the police officer, and then I took him to Jones Avenue where I saw that gangster who was supposed to get the money with the weapon that they were supposed to buy, and another of the gangsters with the ammunition in a little soda bottle. And they were there, and he said, this is my uncle. to them, they said, you know, you need to take care of him, you know, because he says at that time they thought he was wanted.
The uncle was wanted?
No, the witness was wanted. Remember, he's a former gangster as well, you know.
So they thought he was wanted, but they told the uncle to take care of him.
Right. But at the time, he was working with the police officers. He was staying at this hotel and literally working with the police officers to kind of nab them. So that is how that happened.
So the undercover police saw
first
the transaction.
The transaction.
Him paying over the money.
No, not the transaction in terms of the money paying over. They went somewhere else to buy the gun. But in terms of the gangster bringing the gun to the headquarters, he would have seen that.
What happened
with the weapon?
What happened to that weapon? Did he say?
No.
Who kept it? Did they say anything?
No, he didn't say who kept it. But he did say that was not the first time he had taken the undercover police to see what they were doing.
Oh.
He would have done it again.
That is very significant, Danielle. And let us do the commentary here. Because it would seem to me, based on that piece of evidence, that the case that the police have put together against these 33 alleged gang members, they are going to be utilizing, if not relying, on some of that undercover work.
Certainly, and it seems that they have been doing that work for quite some time.
Yeah.
Which means that they have. This is not like the previous gang trial. There were certain lessons. If you read the judgment, you would have heard
from the Eugene Wilson
matter. You'd have heard the comments that were made by the Chief Justice at the time in that matter, and of course the commentary coming out of what the police ought to have done, should have been doing. And it seems to me, Stevie, and from what you're saying, is that this matter has been done differently. The presentation and the collection of evidence, the inclusion of undercover officers has been different. I think what we need to do, though, Stephen, we need to be mindful that certainly when this evidence comes from this witness who's an undercover person, that is going to be very critical.
In terms of the cross-examination?
Very critical. And perhaps you might very well get to a point where you don't need that evidence given all that is coming out. You never know. So you have to continue to watch the space, because as you said to us this morning, there are 40 witnesses who are lined up.
40
odd.
Some 40.
And so you're going to be seeing information coming out, and the veracity of that information is going to be something that they can cooperate by looking at this undercover person. It's going to be interesting, and it also sheds light, by the way, Glenn, on the difference. For years, persons, I think, would have questioned, Jamaica police should have undercover officers. But I think coming out of this matter, many Jamaicans sit back, rock back, and go, they have undercover police?
I was certainly impressed when I heard it, because I was saying, wow, the police actually doing some good work. If they can actually get one gangster who's, admitted to being a criminal to go into the space of the other gangsters to see what they're doing, it certainly was impressive for me.
What I hear from you as well, Stevie, and particularly when you talk about the fact that he's been able to take this undercover officer there, and they have the transactions with the firearms and the ammunition, this seems to have been something that is critical to this gang, the purchasing of weapons, the exchange, where they're collecting it from. Is that information coming out?
Yeah, that information is coming out. For example, today they mentioned one person who happens to be one of the accused, who they bought weapons from. His name is Chemist. And
listen to the names of the accused. Chemist. Squeeze eye.
Right. So he was the person they bought weapons from, and if they had weapons that they needed fixing, he would do that as well. And they spoke about the amount of money that they would have spent on weapons. Like one time they said they went to Chemist and he was counting out $750,000 that one of the gangsters had brought to him. They wanted to buy a particular weapon. He didn't have that one, and they never got to buy anything that day. But that person is the person who they said they buy weapons from. They spend a lot of money on guns, money from what they collect in extortion, according to the witness, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
One of the things we're learning, Cliff, in this matter, particularly when you listen to the evidence as it unfolds, just as you shared with us this morning about the statistics, there's a reason that the police perhaps doesn't reveal the statistics, and there's perhaps a reason that they wouldn't reveal and allow you to appreciate that they actually have and are infiltrating many different areas.
It is a question I've been asking them for years.
Yeah, but they wouldn't answer you.
And they answered by being evasive about it, yes. But now, for the first time, we are hearing in this very loud way that they have been doing precisely that. And let us see the fruits, yeah, that those efforts will bring.
Well, I think even if it is, we don't wait until the end of this matter, it certainly puts pause to many persons who think that that is not what is happening, and certainly to other gangs out there, it is a message to them in the sense that, all right, the police in a normal now and a normal time, them game turn up. This is how it's going to be done and how it's being done, so they have to be more cautious.
Yes.
I think as well, Cliff, this interesting bit that you can have an incarcerated person. We now have that solid evidence. The question is going to be, where will that breadcrumb take us? Because you now have solid evidence that a call has been made in respect of 3 persons. 2 have died. One has been an attempt has been made on their life. What does this mean for further charges for that person?
Yes.
Are there ongoing investigations? What's the stage of those investigations? Are we going to be hearing more about these investigations? Last week, Stephen shared with us that this witness said they don't deal with, is it this witness? Don't we
Friars police.
Friars police.
Who can't get no orders.
Exactly. So now you're asking questions.
Oh, they don't deal with Friars
No.
police?
Ryan doesn't deal with Friars police. It's only top tier police who can
give orders.
Oh.
So the questions coming out of this is, who are these top tier policemen?
Oh.
What are we going to be hearing about that? We're hearing about going to these offices, going to political meetings. Who invited them? On whose behalf did they go?
Yeah.
What did they go for?
What did they go for? The nuggets that are coming out.
Yeah.
There are so many nuggets that are coming out from this matter.
We should bring some more explosive testimony.
There's going to be more, and not just explosive testimony, but just understanding the connections that are being made. I think this is an opportunity for journalists right across Jamaica, media land, to actually now delve into this investigation now and help to connect the dots, because unless we do this, we will not break the back of crime. We are seeing the connections now.
Yes.
We can't say it's a story. We are seeing the connections now.
Yeah.
And so it's not a free for all criminals.
The
They are going to be cautious.
economic, the social.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now is the time when there is a much big man of sweat. Because what does this mean for the evidence that's going to come forward?
Yeah. What else to come?
There's something else.
Just to follow before I forget, was it established in court that the call that Cartel is alleged to have made came from Cartel when he was
locked up? That was not established.
Oh.
That was not established. She only said the order was given by Cartel by phone.
Which is why we need to hear more about this, because one wants to find out, was it done while he was incarcerated? Was it done before? Is there another investigation into this particular accused person?
And of course, he never mentioned the year as well, so we could imagine. Well,
so
at this point, he didn't. So maybe it will come out later. Sometimes that does happen when things come later.
Clearly, there is another investigation afoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Because the police could not have had this in their knowledge
and not do anything about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the telephone records could help them.
Telephone records. I mean, there are other persons who you listen to other places who seem to have those nuggets as well. So this is a fantastic opportunity for us to follow those nuggets if we are truly interested in seeing where the orders come from and where they go.
What must be a very sobering and at the same time heartening development for those of us on the side of law and order is that the police are seemingly better prepared, and they have had an undercover cop or 2. Yes?
Or a team.
Yes.
It certainly sounds like a team.
Yes. Let me tell you, listeners, or should we go to the break and come back? No? Let's take the break, because Octane has responded to the developments in the court this morning when he was named by this prosecution witness, all right, as someone they accompanied to record music. Octane has given a very lengthy response on social media. We're going to read it for you in full after the break. Well, iOctane has issued a statement or a response on Instagram. Get us going, Daniel. What did he say? He said,
People may never know say voice and music for an established recording company is a crime. My boss from me 16, 17, over 15 or more years now, and my voice for so many ghetto labels.
Boss North Ghetto youths who have produced music from the ghetto and never involved or mentioned in any criminal activities. So why now?
Just let me clarify something that I see on the net. First thing, no one escort me to studio. Do your research. People in the music can tell you I have my own recording studio. So when anybody wants to do any form of recording, they meet me at the studio.
Next thing, why would I doing crime and have my little daughter at a crime scene? So if having my daughter who loves music at my studio when I'm recording, so she can learn more plus voicing for a known recording company, where is the crime? Okay then. That means that the majority of Jamaican artists are criminal then.
I am one of the biggest Jamaican superstars for years now. So let me tell you this. I have come across over my 15 years enough youth who in a badness because of their background, but come to me and say, DJ, help me take me out of badness.
Note, I don't know nothing about them badness, but them ask for help. Just to record a song and a rhythm so they can get into producing. I'm not going to tell no lies. I record for them over and over because I want to show them. Say life no stop a badness.
Jones Avenue Records is big recording label and multiple artists have done recording for them. So how iOctane is a criminal to do the same thing?
When it's election time, says iOctane, and I sing dubs a politician on both sides, that don't mean me into politics.
When politicians keep the rally parties and me go sing free, that don't mean me vote. Me never vote yet.
3, he says, when police keep them party at the station, I'm go sing free, that don't mean me I carry info to them.
When bad man keep them ghetto shows and enough artists including myself go, that don't mean me in a badness. So,
that's a statement posted on Instagram today by iOctane in response to what came out in court today.
Right, but I just want to clarify something with you, Steven. When it was mentioned that they accompanied him to a recording studio, was there mention that this recording studio was a crime scene?
No, they never mentioned any crime scene or any guns or anything. They just said they went with him to the studio regularly.
And so the only information that came out from this testimony was that they escorted him to the studio, that he was associated with them? Is that it?
Well, there was no use of the word escort. They just said they went with him.
Went with him, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, so court resumes tomorrow morning at 10?
Tomorrow at 10.
Okay, Miss Stevie.
Same witness on the stand.
All right, thank you very much, Stevie.
You're welcome.
Good.